Good afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Hi, good
Hi, Paula.
Hi, how are you? So everybody, good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to be here. I'm actually, every time we are live, there is some kind of, excitement because we are in front of basically the world, and we are basically still home in a lockdown. During these last 8 months, we learned how to have an open discussion with you guys, with the audience, with the community. And actually, we are very proud that despite of the pandemic, despite of the fact that there is no shows globally yet, we are proud to be in the front line of the jewelry and luxury industry, really keeping things going and actually evolving into new frequency, new reality, new community. So I'm proud to say that this is the second episode, let's call it, a second episode, a second webinar of Visionnaires, which is a project that really wants to present people that they are thinking out of the box, that they have a disruptive approach to design, and they're bringing innovations. Trendvision is always like, it's really monitoring social cultural shifting, emerging design movements and subcultures. And we always try to really link consumer culture to the trade. So, let's start this webinar with our video, and then we start our session. Please start the video, Sara. So Visionnaires is a project by Trendvision, and Trendvision Jewelry and Forecasting is an observatory, and I really like to just spend a few words about it. We are an independent observatory. That means we are not a commercial entity. We are truly monitoring the global jewelry scenario from the established, meaning big brands and large manufacturers and mining companies and large organizations, to also independent designers, antennas, visionaries, people they are working outside, let's say, the system and really evolving design and culture. And this is always trying, we are not, when we talk about trends, we don't want to tell people what's happening, but why things are happening. This is most important. It's not just about why one particular silhouette or design is going to be more popular than other, but why things are happening. Really understanding the journey, why consumer sentiment and the environment is affecting market dynamics and ultimately consumer purchasing. So meaning why we are buying certain product versus others, and really understanding the evolution of design and its impact in our everyday life. So I'm very proud to be hosting today webinar. I am actually proud to basically introduce today my speakers, which are Adolfo Courier, Mari Kabiru, which is Mary Mas, and Dada Arrigoni. I'd like to have you full screen just briefly, so at least people can see your face. I see Dada Dada is back finally. I just want to make sure that your beautiful face, Dada, is showing. And today we're going to explain a little bit what's happening about, let's say, the evolution of what is called neo-core and what we mean by neo-core or new essentials. But then we'll be focusing with each of them how they are, let's say, contemporary design is being interpreted and implemented in their design language, meaning Adolfo, Marie, and Dada. And I think each of them is something very interesting to bring to the table for any of you. You could be a buyer, a manufacturer, or a designer. Very important aspect when we are discussing and we are exploring design with these VIP designers, we're also looking at their communication language, product, their social communication, the way their corporate identity, their iconicity, which I think is the most challenging thing to really obtain as a designer in general. So let me go into today's session and really let's talk about the concept of what is Optiminimal, which really translates into optimization of essential product. So basic product and consumer attitude have shifted with the acceleration, of course, digitalization, new lifestyle and the growing economic crisis has really shifted also the need and the type of, approach that consumer has to jewelry. Design thinking and innovation has become a priority for every business and organization. Consumers seeking for new form of luxury, gender and age fluid. I think this is very important. Let me talk about what do we mean by that. I like to talk about what it is, the concept of gender fluid, meaning no longer related to a gender, feminine or masculine, but also age. The concept of age fluid is something that we'll be discussing from now onwards, because really associated to demographic, but also psychographic. There is no longer an age kind of limit to wearing things. So when people is talking about gender, age fluid, that translates into everybody can wear anything they want, anytime they want, because that's how people feel nowadays. And again, going forward, design has changed. The evolution of technology, the introduction of 3D printing, new galvanic, synthetic materials. We went from natural diamonds now to the introduction of lab-grown, which is creating a great debate, even though there is room for all of it. And also the concept of design and its conception to the engineering of this jewelry. And today with Marie, Mas, and also Adolfo, we talk about, pattern design, kinetic jewelry, smart jewelry. And so technical skills meet creativity, but most important, what we call the human touch, craftsmanship. So going back to our presentation, and so our slides, I'd like to basically, and here we say collection evolved their architecture, moving from sets, meaning matching sets, to individual pieces. And so now jewelry are not just sold by pair, by matching sets, but by pieces. And the consumer can pick individual items and create their own wardrobe. The more a jewel is versatile, the more it suits the consumer and the wearer. It's kind of the consumer becomes almost the author of their own collection by picking items that they can mix and match, projecting their individuality and taste. Stacking and layering possibilities with links and chain, pendants, rings, and bracelets. The true value of jewelry is in the power of projecting the birth of its creation, meeting modern time, but also the reflection of our time translates into functionality and freedom for the wearer. So what does it mean, optiminimal, which really translates optimization of minimalism or essentials, and really the concept of what we call neo-core, and core stands for basic jewelry. The concept of basic, that once was a commodity, meaning something that was very basic, almost anonymous, that was only fighting with margins and basically the stock market, the price of diamonds, the price of gold. Now design and functionality and technology and engineering is really the true value and the evolution of what are essential jewelry. So very quickly, we are kind of touching to some points. One is sleek lines, kinetic jewels, what we call siloless punk, emotional tech, and technicolor. Now, beside the naming and the way we are classifying this, let's call it jewelry family, what is really interesting is the meaning and the reason why things are happening. It doesn't matter how we call it, we're just trying to classify emerging design, let's say, family. So in this world of sleek images, thin, sleek design, simple stiletto, and very linear designs, lightweight, are very like a must-have for consumer, because it also gives you the possibilities of collecting and layering them. And kinetic jewelry, we're going to see how Mary Mas has interpreted this concept of movement. Kinetic, it's the movement that goes, that follows the body. Kinetic art, there is a parallelism between the early 1900s, the 20s, when really the whole concept of avant-garde art was happening in Paris. Marie is based in Paris, and she's very enthusiastic about jewelry that moves. And again, but also what we call the siloless punk. If you are interested in the concept of punk, punk really stands for individualism and really break through the system and being unconventional. And being unconventional nowadays is really expressing our own individuality and therefore diversity. So jewelry, they help consumer to really underline their diversity. It's really successful. I suggest you to check out Zara application and online. Why Zara? I think their communication language is changing and is actually catering to a new consumer, a consumer that is no longer, let's say aesthetically perfect in the classic way, but is actually different. The unicity of each consumer, the differences, the diversity, could be color, could be size, could be gender, could be age. It becomes something to cherish, to celebrate, and then is really intriguing and engaging consumers. So maybe we should look at, other industries and really implement this way of communicating also in the jewelry industry. So I advise you to really browse and navigate the web, because in the web, you can really pick new ideas and inspiration for product and also way of communicating to consumers. And here we're talking about, smart jewelry. What does it mean, smart jewelry today? And neo-core and the optimization of essential jewelry translates into also applying, using actually jewelry with technology and actually playing with that. But there is much more than is going to evolve in the next following season. I know designers that they are not only designing, accessorizing technology, but they are developing more and more concept with Mars jewelry. There is actually someone that I know, Patrizia Bigot, which is actually working on it, and I'm very excited for her, for this new, let's say, family or jewelry category that she's going to be working on. And color, we're going to see how Adolfo Courier, but also Dada, has embraced color for actually few seasons. This season, they are extremely popular. Color palette, the color palette is the digital palette, is reflecting, almost a computer, is of course artificial intelligence palette fluo color, bright colors, but in association with diamonds or gem color stones. And there are new techniques that could be PVD, could be enamel, could be galvanic. And let's see how these incredible, could be even titanium, how these incredible designers have implemented this concept into their own designs. So let me start with this, with our beautiful Adolfo Courier, very fascinating designer. Adolfo has been created his brand together with Alessandra Zanchetta, and he's really, he always say, and I like when he says that, it really is really my life. My collection is really my life, as I'm reflecting my lifestyle. So you know, he doesn't just design his jewelry, he feels his jewelry, it's part of his life. Founded in 2002, the brand style has been immediately recognized as unique and strong personality. I have to say that I personally have been admiring Adolfo Courier for like few years, being extremely iconic, the way not only present, you know, design his jewelry, and of course his partner Alessandra, but the way he actually also shows his jewelry, the way he merchandises windows, the way I really always liked and admired his iconicity and his focus. Is about less is more. It doesn't show many pieces, but it's very clear the way he communicates and very consistent the way his storytelling, his visual narrative. Adolfo and Alessandra, both from artistic background and studies, the Adolfo Courier concept combined creation of contemporary fine jewelry and the art of wearing jewelry in an effortless way. So he really, I think that, you know, his jewelry are for every day. It's something extremely comfort. We'll be talking about it, that, you know, in 2019, he created this worldwide patent system where basically his rings are resizable up to 8 finger sizes. So I think you should, you know, people that are interested in this type of jewelry, this is kind of an incredible innovation, should basically check it out. And, you know, but not only here. This is Adolfo, let's say, narrative, I would say. That's the way he presents himself, his line online, on his website, on his communication. I suggest you to follow him on Instagram, but also on his website, but also on LinkedIn, but also on Facebook. And they like to call Adolfo Courier Visions. Visions, and that's why they're part of Visionnaires. I think they're mixing lifestyle and fashion and edgy and provocative sensuality together with beautiful and sleek jewelry. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to have Adolfo full screen, because Adolfo, I'm happy to have you here. You know, I told you how much I like your collection, you and Alessandra, and I thank you for being here. So tell us about your, you know, I'm talking about iconicity, you know, branding, and you are very consistent in the way you are communicating. Tell us about how much you focus on your line and what I call the pillar of your collections and brand.
Okay, thank you, Paula. I think I have to thank you personally and Trendvision for this opportunity to express a little bit of my life and my concept, because as you said, everything goes together. So there is not like a business part and then, I mean, unfortunately, because it's 24 hours, you know, involved in this kind of vision, as you say. So let's say that Adolfo Courier, and as you said, more like almost 20 years ago, with Alessandra, which is my partner. And the concept, actually, it's been really constant since the beginning. You know, I think it's the hardest part of any kind of brand or vision. It's becoming like recognizable. I think it's the biggest, you know, it's the hardest things in the world, because you know, you can be able to do many things, very nice ideas, but sometimes you are, you know, because of course now we talk about style, but it's really important to understand that a company in itself. It's also drive an economic part, which usually is not really easy, because of course the approach is a kind of art vision, but art vision means in our field, means also creating around that, also creating opportunity of work. We really have selected during these years, I think, the best handmade people, at least for us with our needs. And so I think it's not easy really to manage the economic part of a brand and the style, because sometimes both together they don't work very well. It's not easy. But I think on this particular case, we have been so dramatically strong to believe in our ideas, in our style, and I think during these 20 years we are very well recognized for our style, which I think is a big goal. So for this reason, of course, colors for us, as you know, it's a must, because I personally believe that colors is life. The meaning of colors, it's really deep in our souls, and I like very much to have this.
I'd like to show, if you don't mind,
yeah,
your
sure.
slide, because I'm sorry, this the next one. Sorry,
right.
Because I really think shows your pieces.
Right.
I'm sure many of the audience knows your line, but some of them they may not. And what
Right.
I like your pieces, actually, first of all, the quality is amazing, because when you see them live, you can really see an incredible quality. And these pieces, they feel like they look extremely ergonomic and comfortable. So comfortable means functional and modern, because everything that is functional must be comfortable nowadays. And also, I love the way you have, I think you're one of the first one that did this, honestly. You insert the color inside the ring versus an outside the ring. So the color becomes the lining of the ring and golden. And I think this is so elegant. It's so understated. It's almost a secret, only the wearer can see. And it is so sophisticated, and it's really amazing. And I always,
Thank you.
No,
you're right. You're right. Actually,
it's really something that I really appreciated, and this is like, how long is this? I saw this ring like 3 years ago. This is not like the latest collection, but it's really so modern, it's so ahead of its time. Then it's because you started using these bright colors so early on, and now it's so popular. That's why I wanted to give you credit for it. I want to give you credit for it.
Thank you, because I mean, if you have in some way follow us, or everybody that knows our little bit our story as a brand, I mean, we've been copied during this 2 decades a lot. Of course, we maintain very high quality, but I think as well as you underline, with the pop collection on the left side, we really showed the power of colors as much as possible, with this incredible texture between stones, the enamel, right, exactly, with a fantastic palette of colors that really it just express lifestyle, life moods, everything, combining. Actually, for me, it's really a lifestyle object. It's not just jewelry, I think it's much more than that. And on the other side, Stiloso actually was like, okay, let's do the reverse part. It's like let be more, so I want inside feelings. A little bit of more privacy on the way you want to show your feelings. And so I think Stiloso is the perfect combination. And this year we're coming out with a as you underlined during the presentation, with the tech. I mean, I would like to call the tech system actually. It's an important technology, very sophisticated technology, because gives us the opportunity, especially, you know better than me, that every time you achieve a very sophisticated design style, also you have to face the dynamic commercial problems, you know, because of course buyers are very tempted to introduce new lines, but sometimes also they have to face the business part, the commercial way, you know, how to manage the size, especially when we are outside the European community. In the, you know, and managing this fact was really a big challenge for us, because of course the collection and every collection that we introduce, again, when you achieve a platform of style which is sophisticated and more sophisticated and more sophisticated, of course you have to accept the compromise that it's not an easy ring that you can cut and changing the size, and then of course we know that the biggest part of this business is also make everybody happy and also give to everybody advantages, you know, because of course even the final consumers today, you know, they just don't buy a piece of ring, a piece of earrings and everything. They want to also see if there is some kind of advantages that they can really jump on it and feeling not only the style, but that there is something even more. So I think like last year we introduced this worldwide patented, which is a huge stuff for us. It's really, as you introduce, transform a ring without altering the style. Inside there is a very sophisticated system that make the chance to adapt to
any fingers, any hand.
Finger size, yeah. Which is a huge project. Of course, you need like a capacity to produce it, and also we give on this technology a warranty that is a lifetime. So I think it's fantastic, because it's also for us. It's always been a sense of responsibility of what we do, what we created. You know, for me, everything it's still ours. You know, we don't sell. We just try to find out new partner that they really share our passions and our belief.
Thank you, Adolfo. I'm going to skip now, go to Marie, and then maybe at the end we'll have a little bit of exchange. But let me go to Marie. Marie, actually, she's speaking today. She's in Paris. We were just before our talk. We were sharing lockdown lifestyles in pretty much all the same in Europe, which doesn't make us happy, but that's a reality. But that's why, you know, I think the lockdown gave us a new way of, you know, being together. And I think maybe even after the pandemic, we are embracing a new way of being. It's changing. And so I think this is very enriching. So Marie, she's young and she's extremely talented. She studied in art and at the French Fashion Institute in Paris. And then she had her first work experience. They were like at Florence Croiset and Chouruk. She also joined in 2012 Maison Christian Dior under the creative direction of Ralph Simon. And so basically, so even though she was very young, she was exposed to incredible, creative visions, very prestigious. But the urge of creating her own collection was very strong. And then, she created a haute couture jewelry line named Marie Mas. Marie Mas was the last name of her grandmother, Henriette Maas, which is strongly influenced her taste and life. And so she decided to celebrate the legacy of her grandmother, giving, you know, her basically her last name to her collection. And she really represents what, you know, I say one of the, no, she's not the only designer, but she's one of the most relevant designers which are, you know, developing kinetic jewelry. Movement is an obsession of mine since I started to design. So the concept of movement is very important. Good design is surprising, it looks alive, and it gives a soul to an object. So her like obsession is really having jewelry that moves with the wearer. So in a way, every time someone wears it, they move in a different way. I remember when I first met Marie in Vicenza a couple of years ago, she was very enthusiastic in showing her pieces and showing how they would, you know, change the movement, and sometimes her pieces, they were kind of normal when they were like on the showcase, and then when you would wear it, they would really have very unusual movement, very unexpected, kind of a surprise effect. And, you know, basically, you know, this is, you know, her like communication and her narrative online. But again, I'd like to say that, you know, pictures don't make justice to Marie pieces. I would say she should only have videos. And if you go online, you can see her videos, because her pieces move. They don't look the way they do all the time. I think they move with the movement of the wearer. I think this is the most interesting thing. And those are like, you know, some of the pieces of Marie. So let me basically go to Marie. And Marie, please tell us your obsession about kinetic jewelry, why you started, you know, doing this, and what is your vision, and how do you think also the connection between smart jewelry and kinetic jewelry? What is the difference, and do you think somehow they will merge ever in your collections?
Hi, Paola. Thank you very much for this lovely introduction. In my collection, it's really an obsession about movement and the idea that jewels come to life when you wear them, and that there's this sparkle on the eye of the customer when they discover the piece and they wear them and they see like for example my ring, it's blue, but when I'm just gonna move it, it gets purple.
That's interesting. You should show that. This is what I really like. You know, I like this. You know, it's like. I think is very interesting. Please continue.
And yeah, so that's the idea that there's something magical about it and something interactive, that you have a special relationship with your jewelry. And for me, jewelry, it's all about feelings and how you feel when you wear it. And this idea that the jewelry, for example, like this one, it's diamond, and when you wear it, it takes the shape of your finger. So you've got this very, it's your own shape that it's taking, and you're the only one knowing the secret of the ring. So there's this whole relationship between you and your piece of jewelry, which is the most important thing for me. When you buy your precious jewelry, to have this relationship with it. And we developed only patented technologies. So every year we try to come up with a new technique and a new vision of moving jewelry.
Yeah,
that's basically the DNA of our brand. Yeah, and
I like that you have this in common with Adolfo. No, the fact that you are engineering, and you know, I like this concept of modern design. There is a lot of research in technology, in engineering, in new patent. So these jewelry, they seem extremely simple, but the truth is are very complex in the research. They are truly machines, you know. And I'm sorry, a little parenthesis while you're doing. I want to thank the audience. I want to thank everybody who's joining from Dubai, from Paris, Muriel, Zaina, Annina, Gilina, Giovanni Albertini, Vinita. I'm seeing everybody. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this. And please, if you have any questions, send it in the chat for me and for the designers, because we really like That's the reason why we're here, to really create a dialogue. And so please send your questions, and then eventually after you can DM me on Instagram and send your feedback. We really like that. So what is your vision for the future? And what do you think about smart jewelry, and how do you see that can merge with kinetic, and maybe it shouldn't merge, and maybe not, I don't know, I'm asking.
For me, smart jewelry is to think about the relationship, but I think smart jewelry has different definition regarding to who you ask it to. It's to consider the relationship you have with the jewelry, and to take care of like the movement of the wearer, and how will she feel with it, and what feeling it will give the person who wears it. That's what's smart jewelry for me.
Yeah, I like your pieces that they change color based on the way you wear it. I think it's amazing. I mean, it's really impressive, Marie. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also it's to highlight the wearer's movement and of sensuality when she moves, and when she talks and she moves her hands, and you see it's highlighting basically a movement as well. And that's what's very important for me. And it brings the best feedback I had from customers, that the jewelry makes them happy. Whenever they just move, they just see their ring dancing with them, and it gives them this feeling of joy. And that's really important for me to be able to give joy through jewelry. When you design, it's the best present someone can tell you when they wear your pieces.
Because it's like a toy, people, it's like you dance with your jewelry, you're playing by moving, and it gives you kind of an emotion. You are giving an emotion to the jewel by wearing it, and vice versa is giving it back to you. It's kind of a dialogue, which is very interesting. So jewelry with the soul. Thank you, Marie, for now. I'm going to now go to Dada Arrigoni. Dada also, she's a very talented designer. Dada, Italian designer, born, her nickname Dada, her birth name is Daniela. We like Dada very much. I think it's the cutest and the nicest nickname. She had passion for jewelry and design since she was a little girl, and she really showed extraordinary passion for design and architecture. And actually, since the 80s, she really started creating her jewelry. She's an ambitious woman, represented by her personality, but also extremely feminine. I would say that her jewelry are eclectic. They're also color. One of the things that I like a lot about Dada is the use of alternative material beside precious material. She's one of the most, let's say, exciting jewelry designer, which called luxury accessories. So she believes in lot. She always believed that for many years now, decades, that jewelry are accessories, and she likes women that purchase their own jewelry. So she really wants jewelry to be basically purchased for everyday life in a fun, ironic way. And this is what I like about Dada. I'd like to actually show her image. She uses animals and fauna and flora, but she's also very sleek in a very ironic way. The snake is one of the most iconic design element, which translate into, links and bracelets, but also earrings. Is one of the most popular pieces, but not only. She uses beautiful, rings and gemstones, and in association with metal and diamonds, of course. And this is Dada. And I love that Dada uses rubber and leather, and again, alternative material. She always had a modern, innovative vision. So Dada, please tell us a little bit about the use of alternative material, but also your vision of, jewelry as accessories, and women that, really you're like, stimulating women to buy their own jewelry.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Paola. And I'm very proud to be here with this talented designer like Maria. I love her collection, and also with Adolfo, which is a friend of mine, and I really appreciate his work. Regarding my work, my story is a story of a passion for jewelry, because I remember that my grandma use the jewelry during the day. She makes cakes with the necklace.
Bellissimo. My style is my style. You know, playing, it's very nice. I love this. Thank you, Dada, for sharing this very nice insight. Thank you. Grazie.
Is my what I feel, because reflect exactly who my life, my style of life, and what I am, simply, because I think that I am fascinated about jewelry, and when you wear jewelry during all your day, and my jewelry, the expression of my jewelry, that is something very strong, with a personality that add something to your look. Sometimes I wear myself, I face in the mirror, and I don't have no jewelry, and a perception of me is a perception very simple. When I add my jewelry, this is my uniform, for example.
Ecco, ci fai vedere, can we see your wrist? Can you show your hand with your, do you mind?
Yeah. This is my...
Yeah, I want to see your bracelet. I mean, is it very beautiful? So you have two of them together. Is that correct? Yeah. Can you show it like that? Do you mind? Thank you. Stay in front of the camera, please, because so the design, they get higher. So you have two bracelets. One is rubber, golden diamonds, and the other one is leather.
And the other is alligator.
Can you show it? Can you show it outside? Can you please show it in front of the camera? You have to go slow because it's moving too fast, and I want people to really see. Ci fai vedere l'alligator, per favore, anche l'altro bracciale?
Okay, and I move the alligator with the stud.
Yeah, very nice. So I like the fact that you are mix and matching your jewelry, like, you know, like you said, it's an accessory. But these pieces are jewels, you know, they're not custom jewelry. They're like very well made, beautiful quality, and they're meant to be worn every day. That's the interesting thing. It's like your grandmother, she would wear the necklace while she was making a cake.
Yeah, and really every day, but also with all kind of outfit. For example, if you wear your work outfit and you move during the evening in a party, you can wear the same. Are very sorry for this. Very easy to wear. And also a characteristic of my jewelry that is a great wearability, because
Dada, scusa se ti faccio altre domande. Why did you decide to use? I mean, when and why when did you start using alternative materials? Okay, and why? Cioè, quando è che hai cominciato a usare i materiali alternativi e perché?
From the beginning, because
in the 80s, 1980s? In
the 80s. From the beginning, because I'm very curious. I like to experiment, to try. I like the contrast. I like mix and match. And also my earring are always different one from the other.
So the asymmetry, being non-symmetric, meaning different. And it is something that is only now became popular. I mean, first of all, was popular, I remember when I was, you know, a kid in the 80s, but now it's back again But the truth of the matter is that asymmetry was already strong in the 80s, and now it's back, and people are now, are buying individual items. So you always had that. I think it's very interesting, Dada, that you always, because you are really projecting your own style, your own vision, and your customer, it really it's similar to you, really likes the way you live jewelry and you conceive jewelry.
Live jewelry. The concept is live jewelry. Live and enjoy jewelry, because also my Happy Frog is very funny, and I choose the color. I choose the fluo color for this summer season, because in an accessorio.
It's an accessory, of course. So and you're changing the color based on the season, and it's very nice. So the frog is your iconic pet. So frog is your iconic pet. You have
30 years that I make this ring. 30.
That's incredible. That's very impressive. Very impressive. So I want to get now into another conversation, actually, with all of you, and the conversation is about sorry, let me actually go back. Sarah, can I have all of them? Thank you. Now, I'd like to talk about digital communication and socials. I was talking yesterday with Dada, and she really wanted to share about, how great it is to have direct communication with customer and consumer, and really because, and this is a note that is not a criticism, of course, but it wants to be actually stimulating the market. Like at times, designers feel that retailers are very conservative, and they are kind of blocking the communication between the designer and the final consumer. And now how social are giving the social networks, social platforms are giving the opportunity to communicate directly with the consumers. In fact, now consumers are going directly to designers. So maybe there is some kind of discussion here that can happen, and maybe it's interesting that maybe what is your individual experience? How are you doing online, and what are you learning from your consumer? Dada first, and then we go to Marie, and then Adolfo.
But it's a great opportunity to discuss with our consumer, to present what you like, to present your jewelry, and you communicate with what they feel about the jewelry, about how to wear the jewelry. Is a great opportunity, because retailer nowadays there are many retailers which are still conservative, and the consumer are totally different, are more open. And for us, independent designer, that we still with our style, and sometimes, as Adolfo told before, is very difficult to stay with your style. And an obstacle were the retailer, because the retailer sometimes don't want to speak with the customer about your vision,
the storytelling, the narrative. Well, we also have to understand, I mean, if I have to be, speak on behalf of a retailer, sometimes retailers, they represent many designers or many brands. Or they have to represent, they have non-branded product, branded product. And also, as in every sector, not everybody does what they do with love and passion. Some people, they just want to have product selling very quickly. So does it make sense? So it's a matter that there are some retailer and e-tailer that they are able to communicate the message, and some others, they don't. So maybe it's positive that, consumer can even buy directly to you, but at the same time, it's also important to select your own retailer, and vice versa, the retailer that picks Marie or Dada or Adolfo.
Sure.
If they believe in their stories, and they're able, and they feel their stories, because not all the retailer might be as good in presenting. Adolfo, what is your perception, Adolfo? What is your experience of online? I mean, are you doing well online? I mean, what kind of communication have you started with your consumer, either e-commerce or Instagram or whatever you're doing?
I think it's just a beautiful window that makes you trying to catch people that they could feel as you feel. You know, it's just I think everybody is trying to find your tribe. You know, we are a big tribe. You know, we have different tribes. So I think like this is a beautiful window again that give you the opportunity to tell who you are. You know, what is your feeling and what is something that you can share. Sometimes, of course, some comments are very interesting. I think the reaction is always interesting because it's like you provocate something, so there is a reaction, of course, as always in life. I think like I think also it's an important tool for the retailers, you know, because of course I think they learn a little bit about you. You know, because of course, during I mean, before this fantastic pandemic, you know, the situation was just to express our personality, like Mary and Dada was only the fair, the chance to tell a little bit about our way. You know, I think the social actually give us a daily opportunity to tell about us, and I think also, let me tell you that the retailers also they're learning a little bit more about us, you know, thanks to the social.
I think the pandemic has accelerated what was inevitable. I mean, was accelerated the communication and digitalization and everything we are doing now. Now, I'd like to have Marie that is going to make a final statement. It's like, not about social, but how did the pandemic change your business, your vision, and what are you planning to do going forward?
It didn't really change. We have the same vision of what we want to do and to give through the brand, but we develop more and more the digital part of it, and we've got great sales online, and it makes also me really happy to have this conversation with the customers, because we end up speaking a lot with them and get to know them, and then they will come to meet us. And it's really nice because what we want to do through the jewelry is to bring them joy and happiness. And we get to know how they feel with their piece and why they buy our pieces. And they also have different ways of projecting themselves, like it reminds them something that I didn't think about when I design, and it makes the whole story really much more rich. And now we are developing a bridal line with this movement.
Very nice.
We are moving to that. I'm very excited because there's great new techniques.
Congratulations, Marie. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm really excited with that, and I can't wait to share it with you.
So listen, I thank you, and you see, we plan to have a little less than an hour instead. We almost in an hour. I want to thank actually each of you. That I would stay with you for hours because everything is so interesting. There is so much to talk about. But I also want to talk the audience that is actually joined from Indonesia, Dubai, America, Paris, everywhere. So we thank you for joining and supporting us. We really like your feedback, whatever it is. The feedback can be positive, negative. We like exchange of information. We like constructive criticism, but also we like collaboration. So please feel free to contact me directly on Instagram, DM me, and also send your opinion and also idea and topics that you would like us to explore. We'll be on air next with Trendvision next month for another episode of Visionnaires. Io vi ringrazio. I thank you all for joining me, and grazie, and for your talent, for your vision and your passion. Grazie veramente tanto. Grazie ancora.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao. Ciao.